Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hello everyone, I'm Randy Pettitt. Some call me racing's greatest showman for my shiny suits when I'm behind the microphone at historic Madhouse and other tracks here in the South. Some call me a show-off. Some call me things I can't repeat in front of this camera. But in the spirit of today's subject, that's fine either way. As Dale Earnhardt Sr. used to say, you can boo me or you can cheer me as long as they're making some kind of noise. You know, I still can't believe he is gone. He is Dale Earnhardt Sr. We think of him while we're recording this video close to the 20th anniversary of the death of Dale Earnhardt Sr. in the final lap of the Daytona 500. I do many things at the track as a tribute, like looking up for a moment during the national anthem at Bowman Gray to remember where my brother used to stand. Of course, the fact that I'm standing during the national anthem is a tribute too, to all those who themselves stood and fought to defend our freedom for this great nation. And while we're at it here, I believe the only reason you shouldn't stand for the national anthem is because you're not physically able to do so. Well, I hope the name of our channel, Rattling The Rollcage, will be another tribute of sorts, remembering one of the greatest drivers of all time and his legendary car owner, one of the most famous graduates of my home track, the Madhouse, Mr. Richard Childress. As promised in our last video, today we're going to hop back into my portable Wayback Machine and travel back to the scene of Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s very first start in the big leagues. Go with me now to Charlotte Motor Speedway in May of 1975 of a crowd of about 90,000 preparing to watch history being made in several ways. Now, the first bit of history that day was not talked about much at the time, but Tennessee short track driver Randy Bethea would compete in his only NASCAR Grand National race in this edition of the 600. Bethea's claim to fame had been knocking Darrell Waltrip off the pole in a 400-lap late model sportsman event at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. The sportsman races were highly competitive back then and eventually formed the Busch Grand National Series, now known as the Xfinity Series in NASCAR's top levels. But on that day, Bethea's place in history was the fact that he was just the fourth African American to start a big league Grand National race. He was there to drive D.K. Ulrich's car in a deal arranged by the legendary promoter Humpy Wheeler. Well, early in the race, a pulley fell off the engine and knocked a radiator hose loose, and Bethea spun out in his own water in the third turn. The team made repairs, and he later blew an engine, finishing 33rd in his only Grand National start. Humpy Wheeler talked me up pretty good, Bethea recalled in a newspaper interview years later, but there wasn't much media coverage of me from what I can remember. Well, switching gears, like he had done so many other times before and would do many times again in the future, the Silver Fox, the legend David Pearson, won the pole for the 600 in the Wood Brothers machine. The King, Richard Petty, started third, and he fell behind the lap in the first quarter of the race with an unscheduled pit stop for 4 tires. But determined to end a losing streak that dated back to Charlotte's opening in 1960, the King came roaring back in the STP Dodge, taking the lead from Cale Yarborough in the 298th of the event's 400 laps. Petty eventually lapped the field for his first and only 600 victory, but he would not win again at Charlotte until 1983, and that one was tainted with an oversized engine and improper use of tires. Well, that'd be another video all to itself. You know, you want to talk about some history, check this out. All the top 5 finishers in the 600 that day, Petty, Yarborough, Pearson, Darrell Waltrip, Buddy Baker, they all 5 were eventually elected to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So it was certainly a memorable edition of the sport's longest race in 1975. Oh, wait a minute. I was supposed to talk about Earnhardt and Childress, wasn't I? Well, it seems like I've eaten up all my time in this video. I'll tell you what. I promise to talk about Earnhardt's first start if you promise to hit that subscribe button for my channel below. Deal? And since it was Earnhardt's first Grand National start, we're going to talk more about this 1975 World 600 in my next video. And no, it does not cost you a dime to subscribe to our channel. All of our videos are absolutely free thanks to great sponsors like H&A Directional Boring of Snow Camp, North Carolina, Rooster's Country Store off Highway 66 in Kernersville, and the Runway at Haynes Mall in Winston-Salem. Until then, I am racing's greatest showman, and may all your days be race days.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.